Hello, this is Natasha Astara, and this is Earth Mother Star Child looking at self-love today. That's what we're going to do. So Venus is back in the sky, and I'm very pleased that she's back because the retrograde period, which was, I think, 40 days and 40 nights, was like something out of the Bible. So as she's back in the sky, I want to talk about something that's very dear to my heart, which is self-love, self-care, and self-nurture. So when I'm thinking about self-love, I want to clear a few things up, because how many of you have heard people say to you, love yourself, oh, you need to learn to love yourself? I remember breaking up from a partner a few years ago, and all people would say to me, oh, just love yourself, just love yourself, you just need to love yourself. And I'd be looking at them thinking, but I'm in a lot of pain here, like how can I love myself? So it kind of took me on a journey, because I think there are big chunks in my life where people would talk about self-love and I really wouldn't understand what they were talking about. Or I could hear the words and I knew what self meant and I knew what love meant, but like linking them together just felt like so weird. And I think I can remember at university, maybe my 20s, thinking it was something to do with looking in the mirror and saying I love you to myself. Which is an ongoing process. I mean, it's something I can do now, but I think I have come from the sort of opposite of self-love, which is what is peddled towards people in our world, especially in the 3D matrix. It's part of the mind programming that we have, especially women, to actually really dislike ourselves, and it becomes the absence of love. And it's actually part of the mind programming that feeds into the lack and poverty consciousness that we see in the 3D. So this podcast I'm going to just define what I mean by self-love, because it comes in different forms. And I think it comes from the ability to allow the loving, flowing energy of the universe to flow into us, without obstruction, without fear, and without resistance. And that might sound easy, but if you imagine your body is made up of an energy matrix, we are particles, we are waves, and we are bathed in the consciousness that is in all things. So if you call that prana, chi, life force, God energy, goddess energy, call it what you like, that we are bathed in this all the time, and whether we are open to receiving it or not, I think becomes the issue. And it's very interesting that we see a lot of women who dislike their bodies, which is mind programming that we are getting rid of now. We don't need that. To understand that our bodies are an incarnation of the divine, and us as souls incarnating and igniting our consciousness into a physical body is actually a beautiful gift. And we need to celebrate it rather than become a destructive force for what is life creation. So let's have a look at self-love. So I think it links very closely to self-care and nourishment. And one thing that I can tell you from my Chinese medicine background is this usually comes from the mother energy. The father energy provides something a bit different, which is very important too. Maybe I will talk about that in another podcast. But we're looking, from my point of view, at the mother energy, at goddess energy, at the feminine in this podcast. So you are born into a beautiful female body, and what happens now is, as you're growing up and you're learning about yourself, you are taught to self-care for your body through your mother lineage, through your primary carer, your mother line. And if that is absent or somehow corrupted in some way, then you begin a process of devaluation of yourself and that quality within yourself. Devaluation, decline, destruction. It becomes difficult to acknowledge how wonderful you actually are. It becomes almost impossible for some to see that they are worthy of love and that love is their birthright. Love is who they are, and it is everything. It is the creative consciousness that runs in all of us. So once we have those things happening and we begin to close down on a physical level, it can happen within the heart. If we don't get the nourishment we need, it's beginning to affect our organs in the body, like our spleen, stomach. It can move into other areas of the body, but we're looking primarily, it can happen in the womb as well, but primarily the heart and the digestive system. So one of the things we can do on a daily basis is to nourish ourselves fully and completely with vibrant, wholesome food that we eat in a very loving, careful way. We take it into our bodies in a way that feeds us and nourishes us, and know that we are very worthy of this love. We're very worthy to receive this. So eating, exercising, like moving the body, and breathing, like bringing air into our bodies, and really giving ourselves what we need on a very physical level. As we move into the physicality of who we are, allowing our bodies to be touched even by ourselves and appreciated. So hugging and hugs, but also I like to develop within myself a practice of, if I have a kind of very lovely bath where I soak my body, and sometimes I put bath salts in it and oils and herbs, and then when I get out of the bath, I have a process of putting cream on, and I'm very conscious of going from the bottom of my body, the toes and the feet and the legs, all the way up through, appreciating the skin, appreciating the shape, appreciating the aliveness within myself. Now, if you are an empath or a light worker who has held a lot of trauma in the body, many earth angels also work this way, holding trauma for themselves and others usually. So this process will help move this, and I'm going to leave that. We'll talk about that in another podcast because it can get confusing. But this practice, this ritual practice of bringing yourself into your body by appreciating its physicality. So if you can do that, that's wonderful, and just keep practicing. So then comes in the mental aspect of removing the mind programming of criticism and disrespect to yourself. So, and tuning into the appreciation and the ability to say, I love me, I love my feet, I love my legs, I love my womb, I love my smile, I love my hair, I love my shoulders, I love my stomach. To be able to say these words of affirmation to yourself, and sometimes if you're beginning this practice, you might find that they could stick in your throat a bit, or it's difficult to say. Keep going, because, if you've heard fake it till you make it, basically you are reprogramming any parts of your mind that have taken on negative programs to degrade yourself. So a part of this process is about self-forgiveness and self-love. So when you get to a certain stage, this is also about listening to yourself, listening to your feelings. If you don't feel comfortable somewhere, if you don't feel good about something, you just move away. You make a better choice for yourself, and move away, find a way to feel more comfortable with your surroundings. This is all part of self-love and self-care. So if you are in a job, and I see this a lot with my clients, in a job or a family or a friendship where the energy is not feeling good for you, it's stressing you, and you constantly override that feeling by saying, oh, I have to do this, I must do this, I should do this, then that, in a way, you are abusing yourself, and you need to come out and begin to generate self-love and self-care. So listening to yourself, if your body is saying to you, I want to go and eat ice cream today, or actually, do you know what, I really need some space, some fresh air, some time for me, I need to start that course, I need to move in this direction in my work, then really begin to listen to yourself and your body, because that's all part of really loving yourself, appreciating who you are and all the aspects of yourself. So on an energetic level, self-care is also about creating an environment for yourself to be in that feels good. So making sure that your space is energetically clear of clutter, anything that brings your energy down, and putting things around that feel good to you, and making your space like a sanctuary. And I particularly feel that this is right when you get to your bedroom, and that's where you sleep at night. It's supposed to be your most safest, restful, peaceful space. So removing anything from that space that doesn't feel right, that represents clutter or stress, and creating a very beautiful resting, nesting space for yourself at night. This allows you to feel very comfortable and for your body to heal in the space it's occupying. This is all part of really being in tune with yourself and realizing that you are worthy of love, you're worthy of comfort, you're worthy of good, clean, fresh energy, which serves your soul and serves your incarnation in now. So when you come to considering if you're loving yourself in your daily practices, have a look at these different levels. Like, am I loving myself in the way I'm thinking right now? Am I being kind to myself in my thoughts? Am I being loving towards my body? Am I being loving towards myself? Are these actions that I'm choosing every day to do, my routines, my thoughts, are they representing the level of care that I consider I deserve and the love that I want to bring into my life? So, this is a daily practice. We're all fine-tuning, but just noticing how to bring love into your life, into yourself, into your being. And so I'm going to leave you with the last thing that I do every night, which is before I go to sleep, I lie on my bed and I go, I am allowing love to flow into my heart right now. I'm allowing love to flow into my heart right now. And I think it's the most beautiful practice because I begin to see how tense I've become over the day, and it just allows me to reset. It's great for my inner child, and it sets the space for lovely healing, restorative sleep. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you on the podcast. Please link up with me if you want to ask any questions. My website is earthmotherstarchild.co.uk, and I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and I'd love to hear from you. Okay, may you all find the love to fill you up in an unconditional way, to enjoy your lives and thrive here in your incarnation on earth. Bless you.